Hey everybody, we back again. We back. Going with his Polynesian roots. I'm
Hey, brother.
Spencer, and our very aloha welcoming licensed clinical therapist, Nas.
I'm gonna get canceled. I'm a doctor from the island.
Oh my God.
Dr. Nas, people, hello.
Now he's Jamaican. All right, great.
It's as Hawaiian as I get is Jamaican, I guess.
All right. He's like, it's an island. It's fine. And this is the Different Spectrums podcast, where we talk about movies, shows, and mental health that surround those movies and shows. We also like to have some laughs, so don't take us too seriously.
Or do. That's on you.
Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So before we get into it, and I introduced our guests, go check out Bub's Naturals and Cure Hydration, two of our sponsors for the show. You can get 20% off your entire order if you visit bubsnaturals.com or curehydration.com by using DSP20. DSP20. 20% off your order. Nas, don't you love Cure Hydration?
I just got my packs. Just got them today. Yeah. I'm not gonna
Delicious,
lie.
Right?
There's some weird flavors in there, but I had orange. I like orange. I'm surprised they ain't got no stereotypical ones. You ain't got no some Mexican ones. What'd you just say?
Grape.
I knew you were gonna say grape. I didn't want to say grape. I waited for you to say grape.
Where's the hot sauce flavor? Jesus Christ. Let's go into stereotypes.
You ain't got no beans in here?
Oh, beans.
But yeah, it's actually pretty good.
No one's going to get that one.
I'm extremely hydrated and bloated, but that's my normal me.
All right. Thank you, Cure Hydration and Bub's Naturals for sponsoring our show. Yep. We love you. So for today, we have one of our esteemed guests. She's a licensed clinical therapist. Welcome, Vic, back to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, guys. Excited to be here.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Excited to have you.
What the hell?
About time. You had 2 weeks off. It's too much.
Damn.
It's great to be on the show, guys. Great to be on the show.
Yeah. But
So today we are checking out the movie Avatar 2, Way of the Water, or just Way of Water. They missed the in there, whatever. And we're going to be talking about being different. We're going to be talking about misdiagnosing and also ADHD.
Bunch of stuff.
Today is more of a free flow kind of conversation. So, yeah, that's what we're doing. Anything before we get into the movie?
I think the Zoom background for Vicky, she keeps fading away because of her hair.
Yeah. Damn.
No Negro hair here, please.
Yeah, just keep going
looking cute today.
It looks good. Yeah, it just keeps fading. It's funny. The camera doesn't know what to zoom in on. Is it her top bun or her face?
Which one? Is her bun part of her shoulders?
Now.
I don't know.
Yeah, I see it now.
No, super excited to do this pod. Like I said, it's going to be more free-flowing, more personal stories. And then we'll talk, obviously, about being neurodivergent. The whole pod is about this young woman being neurodivergent. Autism. And so we're going to see how other people probably related to them, and then how they could relate to them or show therapists, or just think about this in a different way when you go back and watch it. Of course, shout out to California is now our #1 listening. So nice. LA, San Diego, I almost said Frisco. That's in Texas. Fresno,
San Francisco.
and then we got Minneapolis, and then of course Jersey. He's still up there.
Sorry, Michigan. You suck ass.
Still terrible. So yeah, let's check it out. Remember, folks, go into the link tree for the self-help worksheets. If you want to get into the DSP20 for the codes, it's all in the link tree. Click on those things, take you right into a bunch of self-help. And now you got supplementation. Stay hydrated. Yeah. Let's get into the scenes. Let's check it out.
Whoop, whoop. Whoop.
Whoop.
Whoop. I heard a little whoop from Vicky. She's whoop.
Whoop. And then there goes the ghost.
Yeah, her hair's just like, did your hair say whoop or was that you?
Hey everyone, before we get into the show, please check out our collaborator, Bubs Naturals. They sell a variety of health and wellness products, including collagen peptides, MCT oil powder, coffee, apple cider vinegar gummies, and other amazing products. Go to bubsnaturals.com and use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. I just ordered their apple cider and vinegar gummies, and I'm excited to try them. If you are looking for a high quality, all natural health and wellness product, Bubs Naturals is a great option. The company offers a wide variety of items that are designed to improve overall health and well being. So go check them out and remember to use our code DSP20 when you check out. And with that, let's get into the show.
Kitty. Kitty, hey. Hey. Kitty. Are you okay?
I was doing that thing again, wasn't I?
Yeah, you were.
Kitty!
What did she do?
I don't know. She's just looking at the sand.
Huh? What'd you say?
Are you some kind of freak? He asked if you are a freak.
No.
Are you sure? I mean, you're not even real, not V. Look at these hands. I mean, look at them. Hey! Back off, fish lips. Oh, another four-fingered freak.
Oh, look at his little baby tail.
Don't touch me.
Oh, baby tail.
Leave us alone!
That is not normal.
Look at his tail. Oh, baby tail. It is so cute.
You heard what she said. Leave them alone.
Oh, big brother, come.
Back off. Now. Smart choice. And from now on, I need you to respect my sister. Let's go.
What is wrong? Nothing. I'm fine. Why should I not be fine? Why can't I just be like everyone else? Oh, Kiri.
So what is it, baby girl? You missing Spider?
Yeah. But that's not it.
Okay. So what is it?
I feel her, Dad.
Feel who?
Awa. I hear her breathing. I hear her heartbeat. She's so close. She's just there. Like a word about to be spoken. I know you think I'm crazy.
You're not crazy, baby girl. So what does Ava's heartbeat sound like?
Mighty. What is it, baby? Why am I different? What does the Great Mother want from me? Who was my father? Oh, my God.
Keep them back. How is she? She's still unconscious.
There's no bleed. There's no fracture. No effects of hypoxia. Brain looks good.
Well, we still have this interictal activity right here in the prefrontal, okay?
She's definitely had a seizure. I think we can rule out toxin. So what is it?
I see that I am not needed here. You are Sahik. Remove these things. Out! You have done nothing!
Come on. Let's just take a break.
In the middle. Okay, hold on. I gotta take her IV.
She said that she could feel Ava. She could hear her heartbeat.
That's
what?
That is classic frontal lobe epilepsy.
Epilepsy.
Yep. You see visions, you get states of religious ecstasy like the kind she's describing. Plugging into the spirit tree is some sort of a trigger. You definitely can't let her do that anymore.
Ever?
Jake, if she seizes underwater again, it could kill her.
Kiri! You're awake.
We back again, everybody.
We back and we're live. Spaghetti.
All right, no joke today, just that creepy shit. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I don't know.
Appreciate that.
Spaghetti, that's an Eminem throwback. Spaghetti.
All right.
It's a choice.
All right. So we just watched a few clips from Avatar 2, most of which were more visual than, audio based, not a lot of talking. And so if you want to check out the visual side of things, go check out the YouTube page in the link tree.
Yep.
So that's different spectrums on YouTube. So go check
it out. It's also timestamped, so you can go right to the scene if you want to.
There you go. Most of the work is done already.
Done it.
So speaking for most of the scenes here, it's all about Kiri and how she's one with the nature. I forgot what the name was. The nature thing was called.
She calls her mother. It's mother something. Avi.
Something.
I think so. Yeah.
Avi.
Avi, the great mother. The great mother.
Sure.
Yeah.
So she's one with the great mother, and she can do different things with nature and can control it, or she can even kind of feel it pulsating, can hear the breathing of nature. And and so we don't get a ton of backstory with her in this film. I was like, I bet like she doesn't even have a father. I bet Grace, who was the doctor in the first film, probably just like birthed her out of nowhere, or like I don't know, the Great Mother gave her a child, something like that. It's
Yeah,
probably gonna be like a Jesus thing.
could
Money
be.
on it.
Yeah, maybe she took like some type of DNA from the Earth itself, or some plant or animal. I don't know.
I also thought it was going to be the antagonist army dude.
Yep,
I
did
thought
too.
it was going to be him too.
Yep, so did
I thought that as well.
Yep.
Yeah, because they've had
He's
a
the
weird
daddy.
relationship. So
Hey, he can't be
He's
the
the
dad
daddy.
if she's so connected to Earth. She can't be the daddy.
yeah, you would think, but I guess we'll find out.
No.
So, and maybe that's why she really likes what's his face.
Oh, the boy.
Yeah, maybe because they like have a brother sister thing, but they don't know
Spider.
it yet.
Yeah.
Guess we'll see.
Yeah.
Spider. There we go. But yeah, so we checked out a few scenes with her kind of speaking with nature, but then we also saw a scene where she's on a beach and the new tribe that they're with calling her like weirdo, a freak. And yeah. And so we kind of see her struggling to kind of be one with that tribe, even though she's catched on to like actually, living underwater and things like that. So we have the Navi, who are more of like forest people. And then we have this new tribe who are more people of water. And so they can breathe underwater. They can, they have like thicker tails for swimming, things like that. So they're more adjusted to water than them.
Their hands.
But yeah. And so, yeah. And then she also has a scene where she's having a seizure, supposedly. Right. And so, some of the doctors from before kind of come in. They're like, yeah, she's having a seizure. That's why she's having all these kind of hallucinations about godlike figures and things like that. More like Western medicine diagnosis, while she's actually being treated by more of a what's it called? I don't want to say like a voodoo doctor. It's
more holistic.
More holistic.
More tribal.
Yep. And then that actually cures her. So is that are we speaking about Western medicine and how it's not always the best?
We'll touch on it.
Okay. So Naz, why'd you pick this movie and or character to focus on?
Yeah, I mean, Jesus, there's so many things that we could have focused on in this movie. Tons of different characters. I mean, you've got the older brother that doesn't say anything, and that, it's all that pressure and anxiety, and it's killing him. You got the younger brother that's a knucklehead and acting out, getting attention and vivacious. You got the ma, and then you got the little baby who's just curious and having fun, just happy as shit.
Yeah.
It's like, wait till you get older, kid. You're going to be depressed as fuck.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Whoops.
Vegas, I spoiled the ending there for you, adulthood. Obviously, the mom's got her own issues and leaving her own place. The dad's got tons of trauma, military stuff. He talks about protecting. He goes all Vin Diesel on us. Family. It's all it's about family. Number one thing, family.
Hey, Spider, even though you saved your murdering father, family.
We traded son for a son. I'm like, no, you can go ahead and keep him. I'd rather have my son back.
He gonna betray you. He gonna betray you.
Yep. I guess this is how movie 3 goes, because looked it up. Spencer, do you know if there was books, or is this just straight movies?
It was straight movies.
Just straight movies. Okay, there was no book that they're based off of.
No. So James Cameron, I believe, was the director. Does so much Titanic.
Okay.
James Cameron. So, and also he did I think Alien as well. Oh no,
Okay.
that's never mind. That's not him. Sorry. That's somebody else. But yeah, James Cameron did it. He
I've
made
heard
it
the
all
name.
himself. He might have taken like a few things from like from Pocahontas.
Yeah.
But yeah. Also Terminator 2.
Okay, yep. Yep, we talked
James
about
Cameron.
that one. We did that one, I think.
Yeah.
So there's tons of characters. You can talk about the other kids in the tribe and how they're dealing with these new people being on there. We can talk about the whales and the shit that they're going through, getting poached. There's tons of different like story and plots. But specifically as a neurodivergent podcast, trying to give people examples, talking about mental health, there's no one that gets more abused than probably her. That's more misunderstood. The one that's probably the closest to being suicidal would be her and probably the younger boy, right? Because he's talking to that whale-like thing. I forgot what it's called. I feel like it started with a J. He's talking to these massive, like, right things, and he's like, no one understands me, no one gets me. So it's a lot about people feeling misunderstood.
Right.
And then we could also talk about, you know, how terrible white people are. That's just a different story for a different day. Man, just, I was talking to a student the other day. I said, eventually we're going to, like, AI is either going to kill us all or we're going to go to another planet and kill all that. Like, this is going to be like a whole Transformers where we're just eating planet shit. And the kid was like, why are you telling me this? I don't, I just want to pass my class. You need to know.
Fair.
Be aware. Wally, you saw it. You saw it.
Yeah, you saw it. But specifically her, awesome human. She reminds me of probably a good handful of my neurodivergent individuals. A lot of my folks that I work with love the earth, love nature, feel connected to nature, love animals, love bugs, don't like killing anything. A lot of them are going to ecology, biology, medical practices, zoology. A lot of them are going to be veterinarians, some of them vet techs. A lot of them are going to agriculture and trying to help build these things. I've got tons of students studying fish. I got one student studying slugs, specifically slugs.
Okay.
And I have this little slug toy in my office. He's like, I like this. And I was like, why? He's like, because I study slugs. I was like, you do? He's like, you've known me for 2 years. The fuck do I know what you study? I don't know you study slugs. The fuck?
It's like we talked about this like 80 times.
Yeah. I don't even remember your name. You don't want to die, right? Okay, you're good then. So I've done my job.
Don't need to know you. Don't need to know you other than that.
You're happy, right? You smile today? Yep, you're good. You're good. So specifically her, actually a super sad storyline. So I wanted us to talk about just being different. I feel like the visuals are very clear, very straightforward.
Yep.
You feel the pain. You see the pain in her. You also see her save her family's life at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So after all that damage, all that trauma, she makes it through it. She finally finds herself.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses her superpowers that she honed and harnessed, because we just had a podcast about being gifted.
Mm-hmm.
And Encanto. And she has like some talents, some connections, and then she builds practices, and then boom, she saves her family. And I just recently saw, people might have seen on the news, Fat Joe, that he talked about his son being neurodivergent. And how that's like the love of his life, and it brings all his happiness. And like he said, I've never been more happy than I am after having my son. So is there issues and stuff like that? Yeah. His kid has a few more cognitive issues, so it's not just autism. There's multiple other things going on. Not the biggest talker. So, right, this thing of autism, for some people, it's going to be like this beautiful, awesome thing. We're going to see these humans just being the most wonderful people that there are. So that's what she reminded me of. Me and Spence have talked about many times. It's just goodness. And she has it. Mm-hmm. They all have it. All the characters have goodness within them. I think all of us do, actually. Right. But she has like a ton of it. You look at her and you're like, fuck you. Why are you so nice? I don't trust you. But I want to be you. But then again, I don't trust you. Sorry, that's probably my trauma talking there. Sorry. All right. So that's why we're doing the scene. And before we get into like us being different and our different stories, I'll pass it to Vic first. When you're watching these scenes that I showed you, because I had you watch the movie the other day, and obviously like there's tons of things you could talk about with the movie, but specifically now that you're looking back at her story, what was her story kind of making you think about in these scenes?
I would have to say, just her being different altogether. Like, she knows she's different. Yeah, she's still steadfast. Like when she went to exploring with the tribe of girls in the water, and she was picking up on stuff right away. Like she was naturally gifted at that. Like for me, it felt like she belonged there. And they're like, oh
that.
shit, like she's keeping up, and she's different, but she's keeping up. Like she knows what she's doing. So that was like the first thing when I watched it. Like, okay, like she's not struggling at all, none whatsoever, with the exception of the seizure that she had in the water. But I was like, okay, she's doing good. She's hanging in there. She's paving her own way. So I took a lot from that scene. And the well-like thing, I don't know, I forgot the name of it, but the little younger brother having the connection and helping the whale and trying to build him up, and or she, I don't know what the whale was, like he or she, but helping the whale and saying like, hey, you know, I get you're an outcast, but it's not like that anymore. So
a lot of outcast stuff in this film for sure.
There's a lot of outcast stuff in this movie.
Yeah, a lot.
It kind of started off that way. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Spence?
I mean, definitely with the, I think reason hugely why they're outcasts, obviously, because they're in a different tribe, but also, I mean, their father's like one of these alien guys that came out from the sky. So, and then he taught him pretty much like all about his culture and things like that, culture that doesn't exist at all on that planet. And so we really see like their culture kind of clashing, and instead of kind of just kind of going along with the like this water tribe, they decided that they want to, you know, not do their own thing, but they want to do it in their own terms instead, and kind of go against the grain instead of kind of going with everyone else and being just like, oh yes, whatever you say, Lord Water Guy, you know. And yeah, so I mean, when we're looking at this character, it's interesting because it's like it feels kind of incomplete, even though the movie was like fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, I agree.
And so it just leaves so many questions to really be answered, and he has like 3 other movies to do by like 2030 or something like that.
Yeah, it's 2031.
Yeah.
Yeah, the main actress,
like, okay, dude.
The mom, she said she's gonna be like 55 or 59 by the time it's done or something like that.
Yeah, and then she was like, "Yeah, I started when I was like 20 something."
Yeah.
So that's hilarious, but yeah, it's kind of tough with this character because like you want to have like these, you want to say like, oh, it's probably this or this, but at the same time, you have no idea what's going on with her at all.
No idea.
No idea. So
you just know she's different.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe in the next movies I won't feel like she's neurodivergent, but in this movie, she fits the prototype for so many neurodivergent individuals that are walking around in middle school and high school specifically feeling like complete shit. And then, you know, maybe they make their money doing some hybrid work from home stuff. Maybe they're doing some online stuff like Instagram, and like maybe they're doing some public speaking stuff for only neurodivergent folks. Maybe they're going to teaching or agriculture. Who knows? But we do know the unemployment rate for people that are neurodivergent is very high. And by very high, I mean above 90%. Because it's the communication skills in the interviews that many folks are lacking. And I can't imagine her doing too well. Because I feel like she would be distracted, zone out. I feel like she would be unhappy at a 9 to 5 if we were to put her character in the real world.
She'd want to just be in nature.
Nature. Yep. I need to put her in like a botanical garden or a forest and go be a park ranger or something. And I don't know. She ain't sitting at a desk.
No.
All right, Spence. What questions you got for us?
Well, this is kind of off the dome here.
Go ahead.
But what do you think is the reason behind a lot of neurodivergent people kind of connecting with nature? Kind of interested to hear your take on that.
I'll I'll let Vic see if you have any opinions, because I know that's not your specialty, but I'll let you see if you have any opinions. And you don't have to speak too much on it. You can just throw something out there.
Maybe it's peaceful for them.
I'll take that.
I don't know. Calming, serene. Like, for example, when some of our clients have a lot of anxiety, we tell them one technique, grounding yourself. Maybe some people feel grounded by nature, by things that they can see, or touch or smell, like being in the garden. You can see flowers or plants growing. That might be grounding for someone. You can touch. I like to touch stuff. So maybe some people like to touch plants.
There you go. You like to touch
flowers.
Things. Yeah.
So
HR might not like that, but okay.
Right, but it could just be something peaceful. One of the things I used to do, warming up for track practice in college, I would look at the sky and just kind of watch the clouds go by, and it's really calming before I get into a tough workout. Like, oh shit, I know we got a tough workout today, but let me take 5 minutes while I'm stretching to enjoy my surroundings. So something as easy as that might be something that's calming to neurodivergent. Yeah, it brings joy or peace or maybe a memory, a nice memory, I would assume, for these individuals.
That's I'm this is not going to be the 100% for sure answer. I don't think there is a for sure answer for this, and I'm not the keeper of all these answers. Sorry, I got to itch my ear. I think this serenity is true. I think a big thing is there's a lack of judgment, so there's no humans to judge them unless they can just be and exist. It's going to be less stimulating, so it's going to be very stimulating in your mind, but not overstimulating where you have to deal with too many things. It's only as much as what you want it to be. So if you want to play with a little bug or a plant, it's very colorful as well. There's many different things to focus on. I think it's captivating. I think there's probably some peace in it with just humanity and just watching, or not humanity, but just life itself and watching other things exist. I feel like just watching in general is the thing that a lot of us like. So there's many different things. I think the biggest thing is just a place that you can be one with something. You don't have to worry about anything. A lot of my neurodivergent individuals care a lot about the earth, just in general, because they're deeper thinkers. They're not so much as the myth is that everyone who's neurodivergent is more narcissistic, more I, me, my. But then I work with a lot of clients, a lot of clients that are very aware of the political environment, global warming, things like that, and like Greta Thunberg. I think that's her last name, right, Spence? Thunberg? Yeah.
I think Thunberg or
something like that. But she's also right on the spectrum. And so there's a lot of folks that think about these things and they worry about these things. They come to my office and they're freaking the fuck out. They're like, some of them are, what's the point of living if the earth is dying? Like, I don't want to live in this world. And so many of my students are going into these earth science, earth-based things to help out the earth and to stop humans from polluting. I think a lot of it is because they feel like it's something that means something instead of like selling someone some shit.
Right.
Because most of the jobs that we go in is about merchandise, capitalism. I feel like a lot of my students don't see any peace in that, and they see peace in like rehabbing the earth, such as these native folks on the show. It's all about being connected. That would be my thing, and I'm sure there's a million other answers, and every neurodivergent person is going to give you a different one. So anyone listening, I'm not the Holy Grail. Everyone's going to have a different answer. If you know one person on the spectrum, that's all you know is one person. That is not the focal point of what autism is.
Right.
That's the best I can do.
If you have a different answer, go down in the comments below.
Yeah.
Share.
Actually, go in the comments below, or if you're on Spotify, I have the questions wide open, so you're more than welcome to write the questions in on Spotify, and everyone can see them on Spotify now.
There you go.
Something I learned.
All right.
Fancy.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So, next question we have coming from Timmy T. Timmy T.
Timmy T. He's a race car driver.
Timmy T. Yeah. What a guy. What a guy. He has very big teeth. He has two fairy godparents. So how have you felt different growing up? How have you felt different from others, and how did it make you feel?
Let you go with that, Vic. Always, you're always for up the bat first.
Okay.
Yeah, growing up different. First time you thought you were different, whatever.
I would say, growing up in the military as a military brat.
Oh, that's right.
And coming back, or my dad getting out of the Army. So kind of just being integrated back into, I guess, civilian life, separate from the military. Like I knew going to like a new public school back in Michigan, I just knew I was different off the jump. Because I started school in Texas and it was pretty diverse. Then went to school overseas, then came back and went to school in Detroit. So just being around like total Black students, that was like a culture shock. Like, oh, I haven't experienced this in a long time. And then moving out to Taylor, as people like to refer as Taylor, Kentucky. When we moved out there wasn't a lot of Black folk. Now it's different. So we would go places and then you just kind of felt unwelcome. Like a lot of white folks are looking at us like, what they doing here? Like, we here to eat just like y'all. So experiencing experiencing like another culture shock. Because my mom decided to move me from Detroit public schools in the middle of 4th grade to Taylor. So it's like having that readjustment phase all over again. So then kind of got settled in, got to catch up academically. So that was a struggle. But being teased by these group of boys from 4th grade to 7th grade, and kid you not, being called Beaver because I had a gap and 2 big front teeth, and they would tease me nonstop. It was just like morning to afternoon. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, like, what did I do to these group of boys? And then it got worse when I got to middle school. I've had girls tell me, I hate you because you're so skinny. And I'm like, I didn't ask to be like, look like this. Like, I am the way I am. Like, I am the way I look. But I would, from elementary through middle school, I was teased for, my teeth. Then I was teased for being skinny. I still get, verbal jabs here and there, like, oh, like, you're just so skinny. And it's like, that's just my body type. Like, I can't help that. Now, when I was pregnant, it was a whole nother story. It's like 200 pounds. But it does something to your psyche. Like, as a kid, you're being bullied for how you look. And it's like, I can't help how I look. I can't help how I act, or that, I'm like the black sheep, so to speak. So for those of you who have been bullied, I feel bad for you. I feel for you. I know what it's like. It's not fun, but you have to do a lot of cognitive reframing and, think about who you are as a person, your identity. And, I don't have a big gap now. I still have big teeth, but my gap's closed. I got braces. That's something that I fixed that I felt insecure about because I was teased about it. So some of you might identify with that. Some of you may not. But for me, that was like a big, big insecurity because I was singled out for looking different. I didn't look like everyone else. So
I was thinking when you said that, I've got a lot of clients I work with. And, every culture and every race is kind of different too. A lot of my, Caucasian white students, it's more about being thin. And then, you get into more of the Latinx students, you get to more of the Black students. It's more about being thick in the right spots. And, some of my girls that got eating disorders, this white students I work with, the eating disorders are very persistent. And it's funny when some of my Hispanic or Black students come in there and it's body dysmorphia, but in a different way. And, every culture, it's just a different way. And so I'm not assuming what you went through, but you being a Black woman, you being a track star, I'm going to go with star. Yeah, right. So
I mean,
FYI,
I got the accolades. I can.
I
back
know.
it up.
That's what I'm saying. Track star. But right, you're not maybe because you are very thin, very low body fat. I'm more of a narrow individual. I would assume that plays into your psyche as well, too. Right now, having the body type that maybe that some of your other counterparts have, where it's more voluptuous. I mean, I don't know. You know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah, and it's so funny because when I was pregnant, my aunt on my mom's side, she was like, "Oh, you big," and I'm like, "Damn!" Like I'm just fucked either way. I get teased about being skinny. I get teased about being fat while I'm pregnant. I'm like, I can't win.
You can't
So
win.
it's just like, damn, you can't win. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, it is a culture thing. And the Black culture, it's praised for having, wide hips, a big ass, big titties, you name it. And then it's so delicious.
Delicious.
And then, contradiction to that, white women like to be thin and, we just go with thin.
It's a thing. I just wanted to make a point that you probably faced so much ridicule being in a white school. You faced some ridicule, and then you go to a Black school or a more urban school, and then you face a different ridicule. And like you said, specifically middle school, I feel like middle school, everything ramps up. The toxicity of all of us, the villainous, and which I was a piece of shit myself.
Yeah.
I actually cringe when I think about some of the people that I would tease. It's horrific. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man, why? You know how bad they must have felt. So it just sucks. It all sucks. We're all fucking victims when it's that middle school, high school stuff. Not some people are just perpetrators, but most of us are victims of that cycle. Yeah. Any difference on how you feel like you're different now versus folks, personality wise, human wise, or no? You feel like you're pretty like, yeah, I'm pretty normal, because I know for sure I'm not fucking normal.
I would say after I got my braces, I was like, okay, I feel like I can smile more. I feel like I'm more confident when I talk, as opposed to I'm just really shy and I'm just gonna not say anything. I mean, you can see that with anyone. I worked at a jail, so I've seen meth mouth, all that stuff, and then you see someone get out and get their teeth fixed. It's a complete transformation. They feel more confident, right? So, not saying that I did meth or anything. I'm just saying I had braces, fixed my grill, feel a little bit more confident. I got a little more pep in my step. So,
methamphetamine time.
Yeah, that's the meth talking, girl. You got that good meth.
It's that blue stuff.
Yeah, we need to that's that Nave stuff. We're gonna put that in some chicken and sell it. Meth chicken.
Oh shit!
It's that blue chicken.
Yeah,
Don't get it while you last.
Yeah, it might be mothballs. It might be meth. I don't know. It's a new girl reference.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. I appreciate you talking about some of that, because I know a lot of people are probably going to relate to you, because a lot of neurodivergent folks, you'll notice that many of them are very thin. Many are very big and obese. And of course, there's a wide spectrum of it, but you'll see a lot of thinness and you'll see a lot of obesity. The obesity is because we can't really gauge if we're hungry or that we're full. And so we just keep eating and eating and eating. And a lot of us do it because we're bored. And it's like an ADHD thing. And we eat and we eat and we eat. And then you've got the other spectrum where a lot of my folks, specifically women, will have disordered eating. Not an eating disorder based off of their body, but it'll be disordered eating. Meaning a lot of them will be kind of ADHD and flighty, and they won't remember to eat. Some of them will be too anxious to eat. Many of them will have gastrointestinal issues unless their stomach's always upset. So why would you eat? Some of them are just too fucking busy and they just forget. And so you see a lot of disordered eating and a lot of thinness. So I know a lot of folks will relate to the story that you just preached. Thank you. What about you, Pappy?
I would just say, I grew up in Edina suburb, Minnesota, and just having biracial parents, or being biracial, from interracial parents, just different culture overall. Couldn't I just never really got into being I never really got into being, in a clique or in a group or anything like that, right? Even though I played sports and things like that, always felt like I was a little bit different because I love nerdy shit. I didn't really like going out or anything like that. Only loved just, playing sports and just sometimes going outside playing with other people. But yeah, I mean, once it hit like high school and shit, it was a lot more isolated because I wasn't like going outside and playing and shit like that all the time. It was more about just doing sports, and then if I didn't have any sports to play, then I was pretty much just at home doing nothing. And so I really have to say it's like these movies, like this type of movie, especially when they talk about outcasts and things like that, definitely resonates because it just felt like I was always that. Never could say like the right things. Never really, really had a good grip on who I was, which a lot of people in high school don't. But at the same time, it just felt like I wasn't really in anyone's groups or anything like that. Now, don't get me wrong, I had friends and things like that, people to talk to, but at the same time, I didn't really, like I said, I didn't really go out much or anything like that. All I wanted to do was just play sports and, try to talk to girls, which I have failed miserably. So many times failed miserably.
Yeah. We've talked about on the pods with what he tried.
Tried and failed.
Which is good. That's more than a lot of my boys and girls, right?
That's hilarious because I love it when we were just like, hey, you tried, and be like, okay, let's say you face the rejection and be like, you know what? You tried.
You tried, man. You did it. You didn't do it well, but you did it.
Yeah. You fumbled all your words, made an ass of yourself, but you tried.
And I think we've talked about that many times with you being like socially
oh yeah,
and unlubricated, unkempt.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Unlubricated.
Unlubricated. You just a little scared, a little neurodivergent self. What was the
also was that I said like just dumb shit just to get attention to.
Yep.
So
that's a vibe.
Yeah, it was always that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a vibe. Just saying random shit to see if like people like, oh, I think people will like this thing that I say, and then you say it, and they're all like, why would you say that?
Or if it's like that thing where like you say a joke, and then like 5 minutes later somebody else says it, and it's just like everyone's cracking up at the other person.
Yeah,
and you're just like, oh, okay, all right, feel that.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Well, I probably said it wrong, or yeah.
Was it the delivery? Was it?
Yeah. No, it's just me. I suck.
Yep. You don't like me. All right.
Yep. I remember you've talked about that many times. It's mostly like the social interactions, specifically the dating stuff we talked about in a pod with Salim when we did the 50 First Dates pod. We were talking about a lot of the awkwardness coming out of you. Did you have any bullying that went on or no? In middle school, high school, or not really?
I guess a little bit when it came to like when it was like sports, especially football. Yeah, because like I was defense, and of course I would go against these fucking offensive linemen that were just
massive,
right? And I was probably like 140 back then, so I was just skinny and tall. And so yeah, I remember one time, dude, like I went to go try to get around him, hit my face on the floor, and then he just sat on top of me.
Yep,
just embarrassing. And I was just like, this feels good right now. Feels real good.
That's one of our patented moves is when you get the guy to fall down, you just you finish the pancake, you smother him with butter, and you just lay on him. Sometimes I would like blow kisses at dudes.
That's an actual thing?
It's a thing. I would like legit blow kisses at dudes while they're on the bottom of the pile. I'm like, come on, baby.
Yeah.
Feels good down there, doesn't it?
I would pinch you. I would pinch you.
Oh yeah, I was punching people at the bottom of the pile. It was bad. I was like gouging guys. Yeah, I was gouging guys' eyes. It was a good time.
That's Jesus Christ.
It was a good time.
That's a bit intense, sir.
I was a terrible person. By any means necessary, I was trying to scare you to death. I've had many
or blind someone.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I've also had neurodivergent explosions mentally on the field and just completely just lost it. On players, on coaches. It was good, fun times. People after the play.
Cussing out coaches?
I was cussing out that coach because he was harassing another player and then talking shit about our current coach. He was suspended. I usually blow up when people are hurting others that I love. That's usually the only time I blow up. I remember specifically Colin got hit on a sack that I blew. Like I blew it, and like he almost like legit, I thought he was going to die at halftime.
Yeah.
Came out the next halftime, and I was headhunting for the guy, and I could never get to him, so I just decided after the whistle to blow his head off. And then that was a 15-yard. I mean, we're going to beat by like 30. Who cares? Now I'm just going to try to kill you.
Yeah.
So you got a penalty.
Oh, it was a good penalty. Yeah, it was a good one. I looked at Colin. He's like, "You're an idiot." Probably doesn't even remember that.
Yeah, because he was half dead. See, that's the thing. Like, I usually blew up at people when they started like criticizing me, and like when I played, especially basketball. When I played basketball, and like our whole team was losing, and then they would just critique me. I'd be like, first of all, I'm already like I am a terrible critic of myself. I know, like every time if I miss a shot, like I'm beating myself up every time, even though it's like impossible to make every shot that you shoot
right
and stuff.
You're like, I don't need this feedback from you.
Yeah, no. Especially when we're losing already. Don't need it. I'm good, coach. And just yell at him during the game. That was bad. That was a bad one.
Leave me alone.
I was like, really? Really?
Yep.
Because I didn't get a rebound. He was like, why'd you get the rebound? I was like, really? Because he's fucking right there. I couldn't grab it. I'm the only one boxing out. Just fucking went full fuck you mode.
Full meltdown. It happens, man. It happens. Yeah. I think for me, I always felt different. Everywhere, all the time. I remember walking to school. I remember getting kicked out of elementary. Who the hell gets kicked out of second grade? Who the hell gets expelled in second grade?
You got expelled?
In second grade. Yeah.
Damn.
I was so ADHD, but I was so intelligent that it was just so boring, the classes. But I could not read well. And because they didn't know I had dyslexia. They just thought I had ADHD, but the dyslexia was there. I couldn't read and retain it. But with mathematics and all the other stuff, like I'm just doing fine. And I would just start goofing around and I would look for attention. But I remember it was different. I remember people would tease me or people would get me to say things and I would like just start swearing up a storm because all these older people would be laughing. I remember one time one of my uncles, Mexican uncles, said, "Why are you always watching people?" I don't fucking know. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm not like, y'all don't even want me to talk. And you sure as hell don't want me to like start shit and start stabbing people. So like, I think it's fine if I just sit here and I just looked at him. I was tiny. I remember doing all these chores for my mom and yard work, and I was tallying all up and like itemizing how much it should cost, and I submit the bill. She's like, "I'm not fucking paying you for this." I was just so different. I remember trying to fit in, and I never fit in with the white crowd because I was too urban. I never fit in with the black crowd fully because I was too white. I was Mexican. Weren't a lot of Mexicans when I was in middle school and high school. It was mostly black folk or white folk. Always cognitively different, always cognitively hid my intelligence. I told a student the other day, I said, not too many people know this, but you will know this today. I hide my intelligence at all times. She said, "Why do you do that?" "Because when I need to get something or take something, you will never see it coming." She's like, "Well, Jesus." They never see it coming. And I said, I've done that because I had to hide my intelligence in school because everyone would want to cheat off you. And so if they want to cheat off you, now you're going to steal my shit. Now I'm going to get bad grades. Now my dad's going to whoop my ass. Nah. No. That's not happening. And that's when Pops was healthy. He scared the shit out of you. So there was a lot of hiding that I did. Of course, when we went to the big boy school in Lansing, there was of course tons of bullying, and right, I was small on that team, and you're getting just pounded by these soon to be NFL athletes. Many of them that went Division I, many of them that went and played in the NFL, or at least got cut from the NFL a few times. Always different, always weird. I remember my friends always looking at me, teachers, professors, they always give me this shitty look. There's always the shameful look they give me, like tisk tisk. And I've got that so many places in my entire life. Tisk tisk. Why would you do that? You're disgusting. And then I'll eventually get the one where they're like shocked. They just look at me with bewildered. Mm-hmm. You got a degree, or you finished really well, or you passed this class, or you're not a complete idiot. I remember even coaches, I've seen it in at St. Mary's. When I would turn on the professionalism, they'd be like, who the fuck is this? Mm-hmm. Because they see me talking shit with the students, and then I go to their office and it's all business, and we're taking notes and we're itemizing things. Or I'm talking shit with the coaches, and then they see me all business with students, and they're surprised that I can switch between those two personalities. Always different. I got invited to a thing. Today is 6/20/2023. Sorry. So on Wednesday, tomorrow, I'm going to this hangout. And a bunch of people are responding in the group text. Oh, I'm coming. And I had said I was coming, that I'll move some things and I'll come. Later towards the night, I said, so there's too many people that said they're coming now. Fuck this. I'm not coming anymore. Sorry. And then I put a bunch of laugh emojis.
Just kidding, but not really.
Yeah, I said, just kidding. I'm still going to go. I'm at least going to show up. I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. I thought it was going to be like me and a handful of people. Now there's like fucking 30 people coming. What the fuck were you? And I'm not going to know what face to put on. And then I know immediately what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go in there and start talking cash shit.
Hey, just put your keys in the bowl and it'll all be fine. Okay.
The keys in the bowl?
No one gets that reference. That's what they used to do in swinger parties.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Put their keys in a bowl and they would take random keys and be like, you're going with me tonight.
Yeah, there you go. I'm probably just going to go in the house, look at all the things that I can steal, and then I'll know in case I ever get poor.
Okay, folks, just so you know, he's joking. Yeah.
No, he's not.
The poor version of me, that's some of those things never die. I remember Colin recently. He's like, Nas, you're not poor anymore. Mm-hmm. He's like, why are you still acting like this or doing these poor things or not buying like the nice things? You're not poor anymore. There's so many weird quirks to me that just don't go away. A lot of that is trauma based. Someone else, maybe it was you, Spencer, someone else said something to me too. You're not this anymore. What are you doing? I remember one time a teacher told me, you're not a thug. You're in graduate school. Act right, dress right. I was like, go fuck yourself. I've always been different. I was bullied a lot. I've bullied other folks. I watched her scene, and if I actually focus on the emotions and I can see my clients' faces and stories and how suicidal some of them are, it makes me really sad. Her being called a freak is tough for me to hear if I put my visuals on. Her saying, why am I different, to her mother? Mm-hmm. And then again to the dad, why am I different? Like, what's going on? Am I crazy? Am I crazy? People come to my office. Am I crazy? What's wrong with me? Mm-hmm. Ain't nothing wrong with you, kid. Ain't nothing wrong with you, kid. You're just normal. I told a student the other day, I said, I'm going to tell you something, Mom. I'm autistic. And he said, man, I relate to so many of the things you said. Maybe I'm autistic. I said, we ain't got enough time to talk about that. We'll get to that next time.
Wow, Dragon Ball Z'd him. On the next episode of Dragon Ball Z. Next episode.
I said, girl, let's talk
autistic? Obviously, yes. But next time.
I said, girl, it's a good chance, girl. It's a good chance. I got one kid now that's fighting on it tooth and nail. And I'm like, every time they say anything sideways, I'm like, you're so autistic. She's like, no, I'm not.
I love Cody. I have one friend who I'm like, autistic. And She's so autistic. She keeps on like, why? Give me a full explanation of why I'm autistic. I'm like, this is it. This is it. Why don't you understand this?
This exact scenario of words that you just uttered.
I need to know the exact symptoms of being autistic. I'm like,
I can't.
You're doing it.
It is. The humanity that you present is neurodivergent.
all right.
So I'm going to go on a little spiel here.
Yes.
We see her spiel with her, the character, so folks can relate to it. There's the folks that are going to be neurodivergent, that in the first scene, she kind of just playing with stuff and bugs and plants. You could see that as being connected to Earth. You could also see that as being ADHD and just kind of zoning out. Some folks will call it maladaptive daydreaming. And then she ends up falling asleep because she's so peaceful. So kind of like Vicky said, she would just kind of look at the sky and be relaxed. Well, she's so relaxed and regulated that she passed out. That's one of the more neurodivergent things that you can do, is kind of just be lost in your own mind, having some fun, and you're just like, I'm going to sleep. I used to stare up at the sky and the clouds and watch the trees blow and the leaves blow and just listen to them. And I would just lay in the grass and just pass out. That felt like a lot of the symptomologies of someone being neurodivergent, ADHD, different, being more mindful and in the moment instead of everyone going, what's next, what's next, what's next. Her seizure is also a common sign or symptom of epilepsy that folks have that are on the spectrum. Could be triggered by sleep issues. Obviously, it's a neurological issue. Could be triggered by the different chemical imbalances. Specifically in here, is triggered because she got overstimulated. So if you look at that seizure scene, and I know it's kind of scary, but I wanted to leave it in there because you can see her like veins or her nervous system kind of like spiking and like being super glowy. That's an anxiety attack that someone would have. Or when you're neurodivergent, you're having a full-on spaz out or meltdown or emotional breakdown. That would be you in that scene, is being completely overstimulated and kind of seizing mentally. Fast forward until the doctor's trying to help her. You could imagine that as, someone that's not neurodivergent affirming, someone that's not known with what autistics go through, or the symptomology of someone that's autistic. And they'd be like, oh, that's just OCD, or they just had an anxiety attack. It's not a big deal. Here's some meds. You'll be fine. And then you come to someone like me. So you were overstimulated. By what? Oh, it was by this. Oh, okay. So let's talk about why you were overstimulated. And now that we know it's this thing, and maybe now that you might be neurodivergent, let's avoid some of these things. That way you're in these less scary situations more often, or less often. Maybe let's prepare and make sure that you're already accepting that these situations are going to be scary, and then take your breaks when you need to. Someone that's neurodivergent, like aware and affirming, will see their clients in a different viewpoint than just pathologizing everything. I was talking to Human the other day. I said, let me pull out the book. He said, why? Because I want you to know the names of what you got, because no one's ever fucking told you. And there's power in knowing the names, because now you know you're not crazy, right? There's an actual name for it. So, right, we go through generalized anxiety, major depression, and then PTSD, but a medical PTSD. We go through this stuff, we work through it. He talks about why he's having these visions and all these things and freaking out about car accidents because the one that happened before. We talk about how it's manifesting in just being terrified of driving. Well, this is a neurodivergent mind. Something happens, you're triggered, and now it's reoccurring all the time. About social situations like me and Spence and how we're kind of fudging it up, and then it makes us avoid and recluse. And I shut my office door and I want to talk to no one. And people will be like, you're so vivacious and you're so fun. And I'm like, yeah. But it's a mask.
When I need to be.
When I need to be, because you're dealing with the mask. So that was one thing with her being neurodivergent. Multiple things. As being misdiagnosed or over or underdiagnosed with things. Also, if they would have put her on seizure medications, it could have been bad. Some seizure medications are antidepressants or ADHD meds, but still, it could have been bad. Things to keep in mind when you're looking at folks that are on the spectrum. There's so many complexities. Her specifically feeling crazy and zoning out is probably the most common thing that my students have. Because there's always, like, we just saw the basketball player, right? No. What's his name? It wasn't Thon Maker. That's a different dude.
Which one?
The dude from the Bucks and the Pistons that just got diagnosed with being on the spectrum.
Snell? Tony
Snell. Yeah, not Thon Maker. They almost look the same.
Jesus Christ.
They do. They're very tall, lengthy. They have no stats.
Just move on.
I know. Let me not get canceled. Tony Snell got recently diagnosed. He's an NBA player. He was on many different teams. He's mostly known as a 3-and-D person, shooting threes, playing defense. And he got diagnosed with being autistic at the age of 31. Black individual. But he got diagnosed because his 18-month-old son got diagnosed. And he's like, oh, shit. Well, I act like my son. And so then this therapist was like, oh, maybe you should get assessed. And he got assessed. And they said, yeah, dude, you're neurodivergent. And everyone's like celebrating him, which they should, and affirming him, which they should. But he is not the only one that is neurodivergent in the NBA or NFL or any pro sport. I got a bunch of Olympic athletes that I have worked with, and many of them are neurodivergent. The hyperfocus and specificity to become that proficient in your sport. One of my power lifters says, hey, man, if you're this strong, you're either racist as shit or neurodivergent. And I'm like, so are you the neurodivergent one or the racist one? She's like, I'm the autistic one. I'm like, okay.
That's for you to find out.
I know.
As he puts
Spin
on
the
his
wheel.
Yeah, spin the wheel. As I pull down my LGBTQ flag and there's a Confederate flag so I don't get shot.
Whoops.
Yeah, not gonna get me. So I tell her about my best friend that's really strong, and she's like, give me his numbers. And I was like, what numbers? His power, all his lifting numbers and his body weight.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. So he's not strong enough to be racist or autistic. And Colin goes, yes. I'm like, you're still autistic, bro. Shut up. So there's many things in her story that shows a neurodivergent individual. Her specifically, when she's just looking at the sand and like hyper focused at the sand, I've seen so many of my humans in the waiting room, in hallways, outside, just zone the hell out or zoned in. I remember one of my boys that I knew was autistic, and he wasn't even my boy. He was a kid that I was on a mission trip. And little Terry was with me, and I said, he's on the spectrum. And she goes, oh, I know. And he was literally just looking at the wall, the cinder blocks on the wall, just looking at the holes and the lines in the wall. And I know a bunch of kids are like, he's fucking weird. And I looked at him, and I'm like, I've done that. I'm just like following the lines in the holes or looking at all the holes in the ceiling tiles.
Oh, yeah.
Or you see a pattern or a figure, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's a flower.
Is it
You look
Jesus?
at it from this angle.
It's Jesus Christ.
Is that Jesus in my toast?
Yep. The one spot Jesus wanted to be was in your toast.
He knew I
He
needed
came
him.
back. So.
He came back. I was watching the show The Neighborhood, and one of the brothers is somewhat coded neurodivergent. And they go, yeah, man, you definitely got OCD. And he's like, no, I don't. He's like, dude, you used to eat alphabet soup in order, in alphabetical order. They said it'd take you like 3 hours to eat the soup. He's like, fuck you. How else are you supposed to eat it?
That's funny.
It was funny. The show's actually very funny. The acting is terrible. The show itself is funny.
The sitcom. What are you gonna do?
It's CBS sitcoms too, so they're like super like dry humor. CBS is just terrible with it.
Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to bring this to light because of so many of her symptoms, and I've seen it. And when she stared at that sand, and then they bullied her for it, I was like, Jesus Christ. I thought of all my students that just stare at things. I thought of Salim and how he just stares at puzzle pieces for like 5 minutes before he shoves it into the wrong hole. I'm like, Jesus Christ, kid, you know it doesn't fit. And he just keeps turning it and turning it. I'm just like, God damn it.
Yeah, we made a puzzle together once. He's like, this one? It's like, no.
No. This is a circle. This is, I don't even know where you got this piece from.
It's just a box. He's like, eh?
This is a piece of
Oh,
cheese you got
shit.
from the fridge. Fuck Jesus. This is a piece of cheese.
It'll fit.
It'll fit. He mushes the shit out of them too. And I'm like, damn it. I think if she grew up in the real world, I think she would have a lot of mental health issues because a lot of people would see her as legit crazy and misdiagnose her, and she would be very reclusive and alone. Last thing, and I'm done. I remember talking on a panel. There was a bunch of different therapists. Some of them were from Indiana University. And I made some jokes. I said, hey, I got some of the smartest kids there are in the nation when you got a bunch of kids in art class. And I was joking about liberal arts. And he said, yeah, well, at least our kids actually go outside and they're not just locked in their room all day, every day. And I'm like, oof. I just took offense because you're making fun of a lot of my neurodivergent people. Mm-hmm. It's like, so I'm going to do my dad's old school death prayers on you and we'll see what happens. He's going to laugh at that. He's also going to be like, don't tell anyone about it because then the ones I got out there might not come true.
Oh my God. He's going to be like, Spence, I did not say that.
I did not say it. He's going to text you. Yeah. Oh, those people know. So, I think that goes through some of the questions on there. Was there another question that was on the list after one?
I mean, let's talk about her seizures and misdiagnosis. I don't think we really got into depth about that, like the misdiagnosis overall.
So I'm going to kick that over to Vic because you brought up a very good something to talk about that I think others might be interested in, and then I'll finish it off with some with the affirming stuff.
Okay. So I kind of brought up when we were watching, I wrote down ancestral practices or tribal practices or having a holistic approach versus Western medicine. In the one scene, we can see there was medical aid brought in to help Kiri. And then you kind of see mom kind of step in like, all right, this shit isn't working. Let this lady do her magical, mystical stuff and see if this helps bring my daughter back. So coming from like a counselor or a therapist standpoint, we have different clients. So if they have any medical issues going on, you can't always just say, oh, go to the doctor. They might have some different practices or upbringing or things in their culture that they might want to, adhere to or try out to, help with any physical ailments or anything like that. So just being mindful that Western medicine shouldn't always be the first approach or go-to, and maybe kind of treating from a different approach. And I personally, sharing this, I've had a couple seizures. The first one I had was very, very weird. Okay. And I just remember being out of it. Body was rigid, but I remember walking through a vibrant nursery. Like everything was bright, flowers, plants, everything was just like beautiful. And then when I came to, I was just like, damn, like, is this what death is like? So it's just weird. There's different types of seizures, so a lot of people don't know that.
If you're dead,
many different types of seizures.
Are we dead? If you're dead, that means we're dead because we're in your world.
Yeah, this isn't real right now. This is
I
all Matrix.
Right.
What is real?
Continue with
it's scary.
It's
scary shit. But thankfully, I don't have to take any medication.
Good.
Everything's kind of ruled out, but it's scary. So for those of you who have epilepsy or any other forms of seizure,
what are the forms?
Definitely get that checked out. There's so many. So you have like grand mal. You have some that are called tonic, clonic, where you kind of just spaz out and you're like fixated on looking at something. and you're kind of out of it for like 10 or 20 seconds. So it kind of goes along with what you were saying earlier, like people who kind of zone out or they're looking at something, and it could be seizure related and not even know. And you have the grand mal where people are like shaking, and
there's
for those of you who are CPR first aid trained, do not put anything in anyone's mouth when they're having a seizure. Don't do that. But there's different types of seizures out there. So
I know there's like the small podcast. I know there's like the small ones too. I don't know what they are. Because I remember when the psychiatrist said, "Are they having seizures in your office?" And I was like, "Fuck, I don't know. What the fuck does a seizure look like?"
It looks different because we normally think of a seizure as someone on the floor shaking uncontrollably. That's one form of a type of different type of seizure. But you have those that are, people are just, their body is rigid, they can't move, their body is stiff, and then you'll have some where people are like literally zoning out. And it looks like they're daydreaming.
That's what one of my kids was having in the office. Yeah, that's one of my kids. And I thought he was just having like a panic attack. And he was looking at me. He's like, "It's happening right now." I was like, "Shit, what's happening?" Like, bro, we just sitting here. And it wasn't nothing scary that we were talking about. And he said he was just like, boom, he was gone.
Yep.
And so the psychiatrist was like, "Man, I think he's having seizures." And so I had to send him to case management so they could like get him to work with some medical doctors instead of psychiatry, because it's a medical issue. From after listening to more of what you heard, I mean, the psychiatrist is like, "Dude, he's having seizures in your office." I was like, Jesus Christ.
I thought that happened to me a month ago. A lady, they took off her Capra, and she was in the office, and she was just word salad. Like she was just, and she was like, she couldn't get out her words. And I was like, I had to email the nurse, like, "I need you to come assess her now," because she came off her Capra. And she's in here, it's not a medical issue per se. We're trying to rule that out if it's mental health or medical. And I'm like, I need you to reassess her. We might have to call the ambulance. I had to petition her to the hospital because she was that unstable. And her husband was like, "I don't know what to do with her." And I'm like, we got to get her back on some seizure medication because she's just incoherent. I don't understand what she's saying. And she's like, emotions all over the place, up and down. She's smiling, she's laughing, she's crying. I'm like, yeah, this is not normal.
No. So I would always say, if something's going weird in the body, and if part of your culture identity is to do more holistic healing and health, that's awesome. And then also make sure that you're seeking medical advice. If something is feeling off, listen to your body. Do what you need to do to seek consultation and advisement. I was thinking about me and Spence. We've had a conversation before with people that are more religious. And I think we did on a different pod. I have the visual of it, but I can't remember what pod it was or what we talked about. But it was like people won't take their children to get medical care because they're so religious. And like, God's got it. I had a client come to me recently. He said, "Yeah, they sent me to a Christian counselor." I said, "Hey, I mean, I'm not going to knock it. Did it work?" They said, "No, they told me to pray on it." I was like, "Okay, that's not how anxiety or depression works."
So I believe Jehovah's Witnesses have that where they can't take blood or blood transfers or anything like that.
Oh yeah, I think that's the thing. Yeah, the blood transfusions and stuff. Yep.
Yeah. You can't take any blood, which is fucking scary. So.
Yeah. Because what if you need it? What are you going to do with your child?
Like if you're bleeding out or something, and they're like, "Well, Jehovah's Witness, like, what can we do?
You're
Can't do anything."
And I know there's other religions and cultures too where like we're not doing that.
Oh yeah.
And that's scary. So if you're a kid that needs medical attention or health, like there's places that you can go. Look up some of these nonprofits that have to take you and assess you at least. If you get a bill, I'd rather you be healthy. I mean, you're not suing me for this shit, but I'd rather you save your life than prolong something.
Yeah, it depends on the state. I think Michigan, if you're like 15, you can go. I mean, they're still going to put your parents' information down and look it up, but
correct.
If you need mental health services, we can't deny you
mental health basically. Or just physical health if something's wrong. But yeah, I always say seek medical consultation. I've got clients I'm working with now. I'm like, okay, this is out of my scope. There's some stuff going on here, right? There's some, your cycle's not happening and it's not an eating disorder.
You haven't been to the doctor in 2 years.
We need you
20.
Yeah, you got to go. You got to go to the doctor. You got to figure out this hormone stuff, get your blood drawn, see if there's anything weird going on. right? Because we can do therapy and some holistic healing and like nutrition. I get that in exercise. Yeah, it's awesome. But there's also some weird shit going on. We need to get checked out. Thyroid, vitamin D, all the B's. Like, we just need to check it out. And then I can recommend you see the psychiatrist for anxiety medication. But we need to get you having your cycle normally for the first time. Because if you're not having your cycle, that's messing everything up.
Hormonally
Really messed up. And so I think that's kind of what we were talking about is Spence is the holistic thing, medical care, and then also being neurodivergent, making sure that you're seeking someone that actually knows what the hell they're talking about with neurodivergent folks, or at least is not just going to push you away as being borderline personality disordered because you're dysregulating and like blowing up like I was, or maybe you're self-harming, but there's reasons why you're doing it. And you're most likely probably overstimulated. I can guarantee it you're overstimulated unless you're finding ways to cope, to soothe, but some of them are going to be not good. Yeah, that's that. Tidies up that question.
All right. Also, last question that we had was talk about her kind soul and value for all life. I think we kind of touched on that.
Did.
With especially when we were talking about just nature and autism kind of coinciding together.
Yep. And don't get it twisted. You'll find some folks that are kind of assholes or standoffish, or maybe they're going to read a lot of crazy shit on the internet and they're going to be like these little incels, like you're hating everyone.
Yeah, there was a news story saying that there might be like this thing coming where the internet will go out for like 6 months or something like that. And
I mean, people are gonna lose their shit.
I hope it happens. Don't get me wrong, I love the internet for what it does, right? Love it. But at the same time, there's always that thing when you do something a little bit too much, and I think we've hit that too much. I think we've hit it because so many people, it's just too many communities to where anything can just be talked about. Like, look at flat earthers and shit. Like, let's be honest, 20 years ago wasn't even a thing. Wasn't a thing. Now it's all gotten, because so many people are just like, see, look at the science, even though it's not really science, and then go here, and it's just fucking stupid. It's just, we have become so dependent on the internet. It's fucking crazy.
And lost. We doom scroll, and a lot of my clients will be lost in some really scary stuff.
Yeah.
And you take someone that is kind of naive to some things, and it can get real sketchy. I'm not going to lie. I do have, my Xbox has a DVD player, so I'd be able to make it and put something on replay. But
that's what I'm saying. I got so many DVDs and VHSs.
You'd be okay.
Yeah.
Vicky's got kids to keep her. Yeah, it'd be harder to talk. Vicky's got kids at least to keep you distracted, so that's good.
Yeah. Go outside and play. Old school.
Yep.
Let's go to the park.
Yeah.
And you got a new sugar daddy, so you got entertainment too now.
Free entertainment.
Someone sent me a picture. I'm going to post it to the Instagram. It's like this dude. They're like, how do you relax? And it's this dude just laying on his bed with a bunch of teddy bears. And they said, Nas, is this you?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah. My Winnie the Pooh's just sitting there.
Cut to.
Yeah. So, we can cut to, is there anything else we wanted to tie up? Because I had a bunch of things about us being different. Or maybe here, this is what we'll leave on. Is what would be your two's advice for people that feel different, that feel awkward, out of place, mislabeled? What would be your advice for them? And then let's get out of here.
Sweet.
So on your mark.
All right. So our advice for people that are different.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
For me, it would be, as long as you are not harming others, keep on being different. Honestly, it sucks, especially middle school, high school sucks. But once you find like something that you're really passionate about, and you really just get a hold of it, It's just who gives a shit at that point, because you see so many people, especially on the internet, you see so many people that have all these different talents, and they were probably considered weirdos for even thinking about it.
Guarantee it.
That's the thing, right? And it's so many people with so many different ideas, especially in an age where being the same is just, it's so easily to do, right? It's so easy to be the same as everybody else. You can wear the same Lululemon fucking belt bag, you can wear the same clothes, all of that stuff. And I think being different is okay as long as you're happy and comfortable. And and also, but I will say also that, like, if you feel like conforming in some ways, that's fine too. I mean,
It is.
what are you gonna do? I mean, it's gonna happen at some point. I mean, you're not gonna just be like the one different person all the time. Some people are very special, and some people are, and some people, kind of cling on to other things that are more common than you'd think, and that's okay too. I mean, whatever. At some point, you're going to have similarities, and that's a good thing to have similarities with people. The bad thing is just doing everything that one person does all the time. That's where it can kind of get a little sketchy. So
you can lose your identity in something like that if you're just copying every single person, right? And maybe you copy them for a little bit to see if you like it and don't like it, then you throw away the things you don't like.
Exactly.
But if you're just following, you'll become so dependent and so scared to step out. Yeah. I'm going to vibe off you real quick, and I'm going to throw it to Vic. I was watching the show, and there was all these masculine dudes, and he said, I wanted to be this when I grew up. And then all the guys start opening it up, and it's a comedy. And he was like, I wanted to be a ballerina. And they all start clowning his ass, like, oh, man, you soft. And Dan's like, man, shut up, dog. I'll shoot you. And I just thought it was hilarious because these men were coming up saying the things that they wanted to do, and a lot of them had to give it up. So I made a horrific comment earlier about the young daughter, the youngest one, being so happy and bubbly and bright, and then it just dwindles. It dwindles and dwindles, and then you meet some weirdo like me, and then I try to gas them up and light that ember and that flame and that fire to make them feel alive again. Do what Spence said. Don't lose that thing that you feel passionate about. If it's weird, just do it. If you're not hurting anyone, if your parents are like hurting you or someone else is hurting you for doing it, then we need to find ways to maybe hide it a little bit, but still do it. And maybe when we got more control of the situation, then you can let it come out. But I don't want you to be in this closet. But I also don't want you to throw away something that brings you joy. I don't want you to stop playing D&D or Pokemon or collecting things or playing in the sand. If that's your thing, fuck it. I mean, as long as you're not eating it, I don't want you to eat it. You can play with it.
Don't eat the sand. But it makes me happy, Papa. No, don't eat it.
Not eat it. Yeah, I've seen you wipe your ass. It's not good. You're not eating the sand anymore.
Oh, shit.
You ever had a grainy shit? It's not good. It's not fun.
Not. So Vic,
talk about sand getting everywhere. Well,
yeah,
got
Jesus
in one place
Christ.
you didn't want to.
I got sand in there. Vic, what would your be advice if someone that's different, right? That's been different your whole life? What would be the advice for like your younger version of yourself or others?
Find your people. So find other individuals that, have the same likeness as you or same interests. Like, we're all social beings. So, at some point we do, as you guys kind of touched on, we all kind of assimilate at some point, but we're all different in our own unique way. So finding things that you're good at or that are interesting to you, like hone in on those things. And, for me, track was kind of like my thing. I was like, oh, I'm good at this. I could beat the kid that was teasing me. Oh, okay. Let me hone in on that talent. Like, I did. I was whooping kids' ass in elementary and middle school, and I felt proud of that because I was just like, oh, I'm good at something. You can't take that away from me. That's something that I'll always have, that I have control over. And it made me think of this show called Resident Alien. I don't know if you've seen it. It's on
I've heard of it.
Sci-Fi, I think.
Yep.
It's really funny. It's really funny,
I've
but
heard of it.
I kind of identify with the main character because it's like he's different, and one of the other main characters she picks up on it, like there's something about this guy that's different. Like he's not who he say he is. So if you guys ever get time to watch that, I think you'll like it. It's really funny.
He's an alien, but he's actually autistic.
Never know. He does a lot of weird off the wall shit, and you're just like, what the fuck? Like, it's really good.
Watch the next show where we break down how an alien is autistic.
Yeah. Oh, we already did it with the little blue guy.
Fair.
Megamind.
Oh, Megamind. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah. Thanks, Vic, for that. Finding your people. Sometimes it's hard as shit, but keep looking. Don't give up. I feel like a lot of my students give up. We just did a whole podcast on Queen Charlotte about no one loving you because you have mental health issues. Let's say you feel weird because you're on the spectrum and you don't think that anyone can handle your quirks. Those people are out there. There's people that get the same quirks, or there's people that have a high threshold for quirks. Yeah. Find your people. And the internet has everything. So, I mean, you can find them on there.
Yeah, don't do that.
Wow.
Don't do that.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. There are probably a lot of great people on the internet. Probably more bad than good.
Yeah, that's true. Be safe. And if you're going to have a fun community, get like a nerdy community like Star Wars, like you're just
or
looking
Legos
at the
or something.
Yeah.
I bet even that's toxic at some point.
Oh my
Just
God.
have, like,
I've seen people bully
Hitler.
people in this Star Wars group, in this Star Wars page. I'm like, y'all are assholes.
Yeah. Yeah, it gets bad. Because then you have fandom, right? Which is a whole different thing. There's
You're right.
being a fan, and then there's fandom.
Yeah.
So different.
So different.
Yep. Because it's a lot more intense for fandom.
Yeah. It's like fanatics. Yeah.
Yeah.
Find your people. Real quick, my advice would always be don't give up. As a human looked at me the other day sobbing. I said, life can't always be hard like this, Nazir. It just can't. And I said, it's going to be hard like this. And I don't want to do it then. I said, homie, it's going to be hard like this. There will be awesome moments. And when you graduate, you will get to choose the people and the situation that you're in. If you give up now, you die with this pain.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll never know if you have any other happiness. And I'm going to be miserable forever. You don't know that. You don't know that. You'll be financially stable to do what you want, when you want. Choose who you want to be around. If you give up now, you will die like this. And I think it made some headway. I think they believed some of my words. Don't give up now. It's too soon. It's too soon. You only got 2 more years of this shit, and then you're free. And it also feels gross saying that, because they got 2 more years to struggle. But they've already struggled for 20-some years. You fuck 2 more years, and then we got a shot at being happy for the next 40, 50 years?
Mm-hmm.
We got a fucking shot. And I said, I bought my father a fucking house. We was homeless not too long ago. I said, you can do it too, kid. You're going to buy your mother that house like you said you were. It's only a matter of time. You're going to be making way more money than I did. You're going to be able to do that shit in a couple years. Yeah. So that's my advice. Don't give up. Easier said than done.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
You have no idea what the future holds, though. And even if it does hold pain, maybe you'll find more people to help you find the light and candles to fight your way out of that pain. So my advice, do exactly what these other 2 knuckleheads said. And then my dumbass, don't give up.
Knuckleheads.
You're like, oh, I'm a dumbass.
Well, I called y'all knuckleheads. I'm dumb. I'm the grand poobah.
Yeah, whatever, motherfucker.
Call me Mr. Stank.
Dr. Dumbass.
I'm Dr. Snuffleupagus.
All right. On that note, thanks everybody for joining us today and watching Avatar: Way of Water. It always fucks me up. go ahead and check out Bubs Naturals and Cure Hydration. Use our code DSP20 to get 20% off your entire order. Also, remember, go to our shop. We have a ton of different merch that you can buy.
Shirts
made by
hoodies.
him over there and me over here.
Yep, made a bunch of stuff. Hella autistic.
All the tism you can think of.
Yep.
I'm trying to make a Roy Kent shirt, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So thank you everybody for joining us. Remember to go to the link in for all of those free resources for self-help. We have a ton of them in our link tree, so go check those out and leave a tip for Nas because he made all that.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you, Vic, for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to speak about mental health.
And I think before we get out of here, Vic, you said you actually had something you wanted us to do next time. Do you remember what the show was?
Talking about Resident Alien?
No, it was another show you texted me the other day.
White Man Can't Jump. Was it that one?
It was, but it was the new one, and I know Spencer's like, bleh.
Fuck no.
You don't like the new one?
So he doesn't want to see it.
I don't want to watch it.
Yeah.
I'm not
So
I didn't watch the second Space Jam. I'm not watching this garbage.
Yep. So the only way we would do that is if we did
everyone.
If we did the first one and then we just threw in the breathing scene from the second one, that's all we could do. I just wanted to see Spence puke real quick.
No. You can do the first one all you want. Love it. Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes. Amazing.
Yep.
Even what's her face?
That will always be a classic.
Yeah. So maybe we'll do that and then I can throw the reels on Instagram. This is Wesley Snipes when he paid his taxes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That would be a good reel.
I don't think he was ever paying. I don't think he ever did.
He probably wasn't.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Appreciate it. I'm Spencer. That's Nas. Different Spectrums Podcast. Bye.
Peace, everyone.
Bye.
Much love. Take care of yourselves.